Hey guys, I'm back again and I'm here to do my April wrap up. Okay, so April was also a pretty good reading month. I can't complain. I read, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 7 books. So let's get started because we don't want this to be too long. Okay, so we're going to start with my first book, which was this one right here. It was called A Winter Game. Now, this is a book that I read with my Normandy Book Club or April, and this was a thriller with a little bit of a twist because it had a little bit of a environmental theme going on, which I thought was interesting. It's set in Scotland, and in this particular story, the world has had a lot of trauma concerning the environment. So Mumbai is underwater, Florida is underwater, a couple of other countries are underwater. So some of these immigrants have had to go and move to other places further north. And so Scotland has gotten an influx of Indians and Africans that have come to live in Scotland. So that sort of like gives us the tone of the setting of the book. And from there, we go on a wild ride of a mystery, a murder mystery. Done pretty well, even though there's some things that it's not the perfect, story. But for me, I felt like it was a good escape, read. It didn't take anything out of me to read it. It read smoothly. Was it the best? Probably not, in thrillers, because I'm sure there are thrillers I've read better thrillers for sure, even though I haven't read that many. But I wasn't mad at it. It was an interesting attempt at doing something that was a little different than I think this author was used to doing, because he has written a lot of books, Peter May, a lot of different, thriller, mystery type books. And apparently this one is very different from some of the ones he had written previously. So yeah, so that was one of the first books I read in April. Next book I'm going to talk about is Soldier Sailor. And this book is just amazing. I thought it was really, really good. This is a story about a young woman who has just delivered her baby, and we are in her head. Now, this book has been shortlisted for the Women's Prize 2024. And I decided to listen to this one on audio. Best decision I ever could make. I started listening to it, and the first thing that came to my mind was Milkman. And Milkman was also written by, if I'm not mistaken, an Irish author. But there was something about the tone of the book that pulled me in immediately. This young woman struggling with being a new mother, I could see everything. So authentic. The voice she's funny, she's scary, she's sad, she's angry. It all comes out, and it comes out at the right moment in the right way. The person who was delivering this audiobook, who was doing the reading, was fantastic. She hit the nail on the head. I highly recommend it. You're gonna like this one if you read it, but I would recommend that you listen to it on audiobook. I think it would work. I don't think it'll work as well as a book that you just read like that. I think you need it in audio. The audio just brought it. It was so, so good for me. So highly recommend that one. The next book I read was this one right here, A Trace of Sun. And A Trace of Sun was also a book. It was on the long list 2024 of the Women's Prize. And this is one of the ones I chose right from the beginning that I knew I was gonna want to read this one. And I'm glad I did. However, I knew as I was reading through, I think maybe got halfway through, I said, there's no way this book is going to be on the long list. It's just not giving long list Women's Prize vibes. I don't know. There's something about it. I don't know. I can't put my finger on what it is, but just something isn't I knew it wouldn't be chosen for the short list. However, I have to say I found the book interesting. This is the story of a woman who is pregnant and she has a young son, and she has another son who's like maybe at the time, maybe he's like 9 years old or something like that, 10 years old. So her husband is abroad in the UK, and he he sends a ticket for her and her younger son to come over to the UK, but leaves the older son back in Jamaica. And I think it's Jamaica. Is it Jamaica or is it Grenada? No, it's Grenada. In Grenada. So leaves the other son back in Grenada. So he's staying back with I think cousins or something like that. And the moment that the mother leaves that other son behind, there is a dynamic that happens. And it's a dynamic that will come back to have an effect on the family as a whole. Now, this is also a story about secrets, family secrets, and how family secrets can come out even when it's only known by one person what that secret is. I highly recommend reading this one. I thought it was very interesting. I liked the voice of the book, the way it was written. I found that really interesting. Because it takes place during the Windrush period. So when she comes over, it's a Windrush period. The mother and the father. So that also gives a dynamic to it, but we're very much involved in the family and not thinking so much of everything that's going on outside. But that being said, it does have some glimpses into the life that they live when they move over there, and the difficulty of fitting in and that kind of thing. And the havoc that it wreaks on them as a family, as a whole, alongside the secrets that are destroying this family. Highly recommend. Very, very good. I think I gave that one 4 stars, I think. Yeah. A Trace of Sun by Pam Williams. Now, what else to read? Okay. April was National Poetry Month. So I picked up 2 poetry collections. Okay, so I read Outlandish Blues by Honoré Fannin Jeffers. I really love this one. I read it already, what was it, last year or the year before last? Thought it was fantastic. It's very short, but so powerful, well written. Highly recommend this one. And I read this collection by Lucille Clifton called Blessing the Boats. I hadn't read any of Lucille Clifton's poetry, but after reading this one, absolutely love it. Now I want to get her best of collection or something. So good, this poetry. It's snappy, it's heartfelt, and it's very meaningful. And like, it's not difficult to understand what she's talking about in this poetry. So good. I highly recommend Lucille Clifton and also Honoré Fannin Jeffers. So read these 2, absolutely love them. Okay, next book I read was this one right here, L'Odyssée d'Hakem, book 1. So this is from Syria to Turkey. And this was my husband's pick for the month of April. I wind up picking out this book out of the cart. If you want to catch me picking out the books out of the cart, you need to look at my shorts. Those are where I usually do those. I usually do a short, and you can see me picking the book out. It's authentic. I don't know what's in that cart. I find out when I pick a book and unwrap it. So this one right here is book 1 of L'Odyssée d'Hakem. Very good. This is the opening book. Great drawings. Harrowing story. So good, so good. I have nothing else to say. Yeah. Last but not least, we have The Belly of the Atlantic by Fatou Diome. And this was a Read So Lit book club pick that I run on Patreon. And this is a Franco-Senegalese writer. And this book was so good. I think I gave this one 4.5. Very, very impressive writing, very different than what we're used to. This is, if you're looking for a great translation, this is a very good translated book by a, like I said, Franco-Senegalese writer. This talks about the main character. I think his name is, oh, I can't remember his name right now. His name is Madike. Is the main character. And Madike is a young Senegalese boy living in a village called Nidior in Senegal. And he has this dream of being a footballer, i.e. soccer for Americans. And his dream is to go to France because his sister is living in France and he wants to be a footballer. And his favorite footballer is an Italian footballer. And he rhythms his mood and life and everything by the football matches that he watches on the little TV wherever they can group together to watch the matches. But what this book is not only about this young boy wanting to be a footballer in Europe, it talks about immigration and the difficulty of being an immigrant. So this idea of, we have the immigrant, so his sister, who is abroad in France, and the heaviness of that. And then we have the heaviness of Madike being back in Senegal with all of the things he's missing or things that he needs. And then we also have other immigrants, so other Senegalese people who have gone to France, worked there for a few years, gotten some money, and come back and set their lives up as rich men. So we have every aspect of immigration is being told within this tiny little story, but as you can see, I have tons of tabs, because not only is the story done so well, but there's so many great lines and paragraphs and things. So good. I highly recommend this one. If you don't know Fatou Diome, she's fantastic. She's also talks a lot about immigration when she's on French TV. And I just love her, and and the way she writes the book. It's just so different. It mimics the water at the beach. It does like this. It's just so good. Very powerful, very emotional, very great story by a wonderful writer, Fatou Diome. Best way to end this video, because this is a really good book. Okay, so that's it. I'm probably going to come back to you with a book haul. I've gotten a lot of new books since a couple of months now, since 3 or 4 months, and have not done a book haul. So we might get a 2-part book haul, because I don't want to be doing no half-hour book, 1-hour book haul. Like, no, I'd rather do 20 and 20 minutes. But we'll see how I can get that done. And we also are going to have my video from my Normandy Book Club's long list, which is up as well. So I need to inform you guys on what's on that list, because I know you are interested in hearing what are the possibilities for our next year's book club. That is September, October 2024 to 2025 June. So that's all I have for you today, and enjoy yourselves today. Get some good reading in, and I'll see you back with another video very soon. Bye.